Hey, welcome to the channel. It's time for a review of the latest album from Switchfoot frontman Jon Foreman with Departures. Switchfoot is my #1 band of all time. They came into my life in 2003 with the singles Meant to Live and Dare You to Move, and I ended up getting the beautiful Letdown for my 12th birthday, and that was the start of this collection behind me here that I spent the next 5 or so years building. So that album was where it all began for me. I was the Switchfoot kid in high school. Anyone who knew me knew that my favorite band was Switchfoot, and they were always so special to me because in my small town, I was pretty much the only person in my high school who even knew who the band was outside of a few of the Christian kids. I'm not a religious guy, and I didn't even know Switchfoot was a Christian rock band until a couple years of listening to them. Like, they've never been a blatantly gospel band or anything. I find their music is just meant to inspire you and make you think about life and the world a bit more. They've never really held their religious beliefs over me with their music. But Jon Foreman's solo stuff definitely holds some more religious context to it, and honestly, I find it as a way for me to connect with this greater power that I've never really believed in. It feels good to sing along to his music that is more outwardly religious. It's kind of like a form of prayer for me. His season EPs from 2007, 2008, fall, winter, spring, summer mean the world to me. I even own this limited edition vinyl collection of the 4 EPs. This is one of 500 copies, 441 out of 500, and I'm so proud to be one of the 500 to own this. I went through a phase in high school where I considered myself to be the #1 Switchfoot fan in the world. I own more merch from these guys than any other band. Every one of the 24 songs within those EPs is very special to me, and I went through them all and I picked out 2 favorites from each. I settled on The Cure for Pain, Equally Skilled, Learning How to Die, Behind Your Eyes, Love Isn't Made, doesn't get any better than that one, Your Love Is Strong, Deep in Your Eyes, and The House of God Forever. All just incredibly beautiful songs that I'd say are about the strongest showing of Jon's songwriting throughout his career. And then in 2015, we got the Wonderlands EPs, and they just didn't land with me the same. Times had changed. I was into my 20s, listening to a lot more music than I was back in grade 11 when the season EPs came out, and I just never connected with the music from the Wonderlands on the same level as the older stuff. And now we have Departures, another several years later, and I'm probably listening to more music now than I was back in 2015, and I knew that this music would not hit me the same as the stuff over 10 years ago did, but I am just so happy to see Jon Foreman still releasing solo music in 2021. And there is some stuff on here I find to be quite special. The singles Red and Gold and Jesus, I Have My Doubts are both beautiful. Jon says Red and Gold was inspired by California freeways in the sunset. The freeway becomes this red and gold ribbon of brake lights and headlights, everyone trying to get home, and he uses that as a metaphor for a larger journey, a journey to find something more than just suburbia. It doesn't get any better than this on the album. He creates such a lovely mood within the song that holds this sweet encouragement to it. The echoing vocals in the chorus add such a dreamy, float-away feeling. You get some cool, soft electric guitar in the bridge, and the pulsing strings that help build it up towards the end for that one final exhale of emotion. Just a tremendously crafted song. And Jesus, I Have My Doubts, it's Jon confessing his doubts to Jesus. He said it's him asking the big questions at the end of a long, difficult season, I believe referencing some of the events that have occurred in the States in the past year. And to hear Jon expressing these feelings of his, it hits pretty hard. Especially in the bridge when it has him asking, "Are you there? Can you hear me? Do you care? Are you near me?" Like, that's heavy stuff coming from Jon, to hear him kind of questioning if Jesus is even listening to him. I feel like I've never seen that side of Jon before. The lead single, Education, is more lighthearted, catchy, bouncy little beat, a strong sing-along, feel-good hook. The horns add a little bit of melancholy to it, definitely worthy of that lead single status. And then there's Side by Side, another pre-album single, this one featuring the lovely vocals of young Cali artist Madison Cunningham. It's a sweet, gently swaying melody, and it continues to grow on me. There's a real pleasure to be found in singing along with them during that chorus. You get another feature on A Place Called Earth with Christian artist Lauren Daigle who appears to have more of a following than Switchfoot ever has. It's a pretty dark track, a very brooding feeling to it, and Lauren has a weighty vocal presence that complements the mood well. It's one of the more outwardly religious songs, and it's not my favorite, but I do appreciate the nice swell to that final orchestral-backed chorus. The opener, The Ocean Beyond the Sea, is unlike anything I can think of from Jon. It's got this haunting orchestral atmosphere to it, and it makes me feel like I'm out on an old pirate ship out at sea, searching for this hidden world that Jon seems to be referencing. Not really my type of song, but it is cool to hear Jon trying something new with this one. I find a couple of the more mediocre songs on the second half with The Gift and the closing last words. The Gift is the shortest song of the bunch, and it's sweet. I like the raw guitar plucking you hear from Jon, and it has a bit of a lullaby appeal to it, but it doesn't really go anywhere for me. And Last Words, I find, is just too neutral for me. I'm not a lyrically focused enough listener to just latch onto the words. I need that melodic shift in there to make me want to dive into the words. There is a little bit of an uplift in its final minute, but it's pretty short-lived and it's not enough to save the song for me. And then I find a couple of pretty good songs in Thanks Be to God and The Valley of the Shadow of Planned Obsolescence. Thanks Be to God has a bit of a hymnal quality to its main refrain, and when it comes to Jon's music acting as a form of prayer for me, this one definitely gives me that feeling when I sing along to it. And The Valley of the Shadow of Planned Obsolescence, this one's got some quirkiness to it that I enjoy. Never thought I'd hear a song from Jon Foreman that mentions Justin Timberlake, but here we are. Lyrically, I would say it's one of the strongest songs of the album. It's Jon kind of reflecting on the changes the world has seen over the years with social media and whatnot, making him feel disposable and old. But ultimately, he's happy to be in that position, holding on to what is real in his life, knowing that in the end, that's what truly matters. Musically, it's a little dry for my taste, but I definitely admire the message. Love Is a Rebel song is a close favorite. It has a big sing-along pull to it with its peppy chorus, and it's just all around good vibes. But it's Weight of the World that I'd say is my favorite outside of Red and Gold and Jesus, I Have My Doubts. I think most Switchfoot fans should be able to hear the Only Hope vibes, one of their best songs. And it also makes me think of Jon's solo song Equally Skilled, more on a lyrical level. I love the kind of somber tone to this song. The way it slides into the chorus is quite powerful. Jon holds a longing emotion in his words, and I just love these songs that show off the darker side of his performance. And that's all of them. Had to give the time to Jon Foreman. This man is my hero, and there's just not many people out there talking about him, and I would love to be able to shed a little bit of light on his music. You know, as I've said, time moves on, music hits you differently, and it will always be Jon Foreman's season EPs that I hold the closest to my heart, but he remains my favorite songwriter, and he shows that he's still got it on this latest album. I've rated each song, I've crunched the numbers, and I've settled on a solid final score of 7.1. That's gonna wrap it up. Thank you for checking this out. Love a thumbs up if you liked what you saw. Hit the subscribe for more alternative content, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about the album. I'll see you next time.